Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Shaheen Ahmed. Welcome to the chemistry classes. Today we are going to study class 10th chemistry chapter metals and non-metals. Topic physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So let us understand. Before studying in detail about the metals and non-metal, I want to show you the periodic table, and that is at the back side of me. And what is this periodic table? Actually, all the object and all the things which we see around us, that all these things, they are made up of elements. Let's say for example, our body, our human body, that is made by the different types of element like carbon, hydrogen, magnesium, phosphorus, calcium. The other different elements are there which are found in our body. In the same way, any animal body, that is also made by the different types of element. Any object which you see around us, that is also made by different types of element like copper, aluminium, gold, silver. So these all the things which we see all around us, they are basically made by element. Each and everything in the universe as well as on the surface of the earth, that is made by elements. And so far the scientists, they have discovered approx 118 elements, and many more are need to be discovered in the future. But so far we have the study of 118 elements, and these 118 elements are classified in a table, and that is called periodic table. And if we see this periodic table, then we will see all the elements are classified into this. About this periodic table also we will study in detail in the last chapter of the chemistry, and that is periodic classification of the element. But a brief idea I am giving to you here also. This whole periodic table, if we see, then there are some vertical columns are found in this periodic table and some horizontal columns. You see, these are called horizontal columns like this. And how many horizontal columns are there? This is horizontal column 1 from here to here, and this is horizontal column 2 from here to here. This is horizontal column 3, this is horizontal column 4, this is horizontal column 5, 6 and 7. These in the main skeleton of the periodic table, 7 horizontal columns are there, and these horizontal columns are called periods. So if I ask you that how many horizontal columns are there, then you say that is 7. Now see the vertical columns, how many vertical columns are there? So you see the vertical columns, this is vertical column 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and till 18. Up to 18 vertical columns are there. So you must keep in the mind, there are 7 horizontal columns are there, they are called periods, and 18 vertical columns are there and they are called groups. See, in this periodic table, from this side and up to here, almost these all the elements, they are called metals. And right side you see the one type, second type and three types of blue colors are there. The extreme right side, this vertical column, that is called noble gases or inert gases. Extreme right side, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. These elements, they are called noble gases or inert gases. Just before that one, this is group 17. Last group is 18 group element, they are called noble gases or inert gases, and the group 17 elements, they are called halogens. In fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. So these elements, they are called halogens. These halogens are non-metals, and these green one, they are another type of non-metals. And third type of blue color, that is boron, silicon, germanium. These all elements, boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic and these antimony, tellurium and polonium, these elements, they are called metalloid. So one thing is clear to you, from here to here all these elements, they are called metals. Extreme right side, they are called noble gases or inert gases. These elements, group 17 as well as these green one, they are called non-metals, and these elements which are another blue color, they all are called metalloid. Metals have some unique properties, non-metals they also have some unique properties, and metalloids are those elements which show the metallic as well as non-metallic property. So those elements in this periodic table which show both the properties of the metals and non-metals, they are called metalloid. So I hope it is clear to you that how many elements are there and how this periodic table that is classified into the metals, non-metals and metalloid. Finally, we will define what is the definition of the metal, non-metal and metalloid, and what are the physical and chemical properties of the metals and non-metals. So let us understand. So see, in this it is written here, all the elements are classified into three categories like metals, non-metals and metalloid. And one by one we will try to define how do we define the metals, how do we define the non-metal, and how do we define the metalloid. So see, first about the metals. How do we define the metal? See, what is the definition of the metal? Metals are those elements of the periodic table which have a tendency to lose electron. Any element in the periodic table which has a tendency to lose electron, इलेक्ट्रॉन को बाहर निकालने की टेंडेंसी जिन एलिमेंट्स में होती है, they all are called metals, and this is the definition of the metal. Metals are the elements except hydrogen. Hydrogen is an exceptional case, so except hydrogen which form cation by losing the electron. This is a metal, any metal, and it is losing one electron. See, one electron is lost, one E minus, and one E minus means one electron is lost. And I think you know very well, when an atom loses the electron, it acquires 1 unit of positive charge, and whenever one atom gains the electron, it acquires 1 unit of negative charge. So since it is losing one electron, to metal, one atom acquire 1 unit of positive charge. So see, this is the one atom of the metal, now it is losing one electron, and the metal itself acquiring 1 unit of positive charge. So these element and these type of all the elements and their atoms which have a tendency to lose electron, they are called metals. Now what's about the non-metals? Opposite definition. Those elements which have a tendency to gain electron, they are called non-metals. They say X is an element which is gaining one electron, plus one electron, one E minus means one electron. So X plus one electron give rise to X minus, and X minus means gaining one electron. So this element and this type of any other element which has a tendency to gain electron, that is called non-metal. Now we come to the another point, and that is called metalloid. And what are the metalloids? Metalloids are those elements which behave like both metals and non-metals. So metalloids are those elements which show the properties of the metals as well as non-metals. They are called metalloid. Like three examples I have given, that is boron, B, silicon, 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 Si, germanium, 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 G, etc. So the other three different examples are given. Now we go further. The difference between the physical properties of the metals and non-metal. Now the first difference in the properties of malleability means this is a property under which the metals are beaten into thin sheets, fine sheets. The property is called malleability, and the property under which we study that metals, they can be drawn into wires. The property is called ductility. So metals are malleable as well as ductile. Metals can be beaten into the thin sheets as well as metals can be drawn into wires. But the non-metals, neither they are malleable nor ductile. Second point, they are the good conductors of heat and electricity. You are very familiar with this, that metals, they have a good conductor of heat as well as electricity. But the non-metals, they are the bad conductors of heat and electricity. This is the second point. Now the third point, they are lustrous and can be polished. Lustrous means shiny. So they look shiny. उनकी जो surface होती है metals की, they are shining. So they are lustrous and can be polished. उनके ऊपर polish की जा सकती है. But the non-metals, they are non-lustrous. They are non-lustrous. They cannot be polished. Now fourth, metals are solids at room temperature. Most of the metals, they are solids at room temperature except only one metal, that is liquid at room temperature. And what is that? That is mercury. Mercury is the only metal which is liquid at room temperature. Otherwise, most of the metals are solids. Now, about the non-metals, they may be solid, liquid or gas at room temperature. Now, fifth point, they are strong and tough. जो metals होते हैं, they are very strong and tough, and non-metals, they are not strong and tough. Now we go to the next point, and what is that? That is the chemical properties of metals. This what we have studied, that was the differences in the physical properties of metal and non-metal. Now we are going towards the chemical properties of metals, and the first chemical property, and that is how do metals react with oxygen. The metals होते हैं, how do they react with oxygen? Some metals, they are very active towards the oxygen. जो highly reactive element होते हैं like sodium and potassium, so they are very reactive towards the oxygen. So it is written here, all metals combine with oxygen to form metal oxides. जैसे for example sodium react with oxygen at room temperature and form sodium oxide. So in general you can study metals on reacting with oxygen form metal oxide. जैसे for example sodium plus oxygen, sodium oxide. Potassium plus oxygen, potassium oxide. Calcium plus oxygen, calcium oxide, like that. So 4Na plus O2 give rise to 2Na2O, and this is called sodium oxide. So metals on reacting with the oxygen, it forms metal oxide. Now this magnesium, when the magnesium burns with the flame, it burns with the white dazzling light. So it is written, magnesium does not react with oxygen at room temperature. Actually sodium and potassium, they are very reactive. So when sodium and potassium, they are exposed to air, then without heating they may react with the oxygen and they form sodium oxide or potassium oxide. But the magnesium does not react with the oxygen at room temperature. Sodium को तो simply you take out and put in the open atmosphere, it will react with the oxygen and will form sodium oxide. But the magnesium, if you keep in the open atmosphere at the room temperature, it does not react. But when the magnesium is heated with the flame, then it reacts with the oxygen and it forms magnesium oxide, which is in the form of white powder. So it is written here, magnesium does not react with oxygen at room temperature. This is written note, and two important points are given here. The first note that is given, जो metal oxides होते हैं, they all are basic in nature. So keep in the mind, somewhere in the long memory of your brain, all metal oxide except one or two, all metal oxides are basic in nature. Calcium plus oxygen, calcium oxide, basic in nature. Sodium plus oxygen, sodium oxide, basic in nature. Potassium with oxygen, potassium oxide, basic in nature. So remember, oxides of metals are basic in nature, except one or two. So when the metal oxide, when they dissolve in the water, they form basic solution. See, this is Na2O, basic oxide. As I have told you, oxide of metals are basic in nature. Water is always neutral. Water does not show acidic or basic character, it is neutral. When the sodium oxide dissolves in the water, the solution which is formed here, that shows basic character. And what does it mean? It means these sodium oxides are basic in nature. Next note, just now I told you that most of the metal oxide, they are basic in nature, but two metal oxides I am showing here, they are amphoteric in nature. And what is the meaning of amphoteric? Amphoteric means those type of metal oxide which show the acidic property as well as basic property. They show the dual behavior. So like zinc or aluminum के जो oxide होते हैं, zinc oxide and aluminum oxide, they are able to react with the acid as well as they are able to react with the base. And since they react with the acid and base, both we say they show the amphoteric behavior. So remember, zinc oxide and aluminum oxides are amphoteric in nature. It means they show the acidic as well as basic property. Now we see the equation. Two equations are given here. Zinc oxide reacting with the H2SO4. H2SO4 is the acid and zinc oxide is reacting with this, and since the zinc oxide is reacting with the acid, it means now it is showing the basic character. So zinc oxide plus H2SO4, it forms ZnSO4 plus water. You have already studied acid and base. When they react together, they form salt and water. So if this is acid, this will be base, and they form salt and water. Next, this zinc oxide is able to react with the base also. So when it reacts with the base, it means it shows the acidic behavior. So this is acid, this is base, it forms salt and water. And this salt is very important, Na2ZnO2, and this is called sodium zincate. Now, aluminum oxide. Aluminum oxide also, two examples I am showing you here. Here aluminum oxide is reacting with the HCl, hydrochloric acid. This is acid. Now this will behave like base. Base, acid, salt, water. And this salt is called aluminum chloride. Next equation, Al2O3 aluminum oxide plus 2NaOH. NaOH is the base and reacting with the Al2O3. Here it is behaving like acid. Acid plus base give rise to salt and water. And this salt NaAlO2, this is called sodium aluminate. Zinc sulfate, Na2ZnO2, sodium zincate, AlCl3, aluminum chloride, and NaAlO2, that is called sodium aluminate. So what you have understood in this? Two metal oxide like aluminum oxide as well as zinc oxide, they are amphoteric in nature. It means they are able to show acidic behavior as well as basic behavior. Now we come to the next point. The second chemical properties of metals, and that is how do metals react with the water. When the metals they react with the water, then what happens? Some metals directly react with the water, but some metals they do not react with the water, they react with the steam. So if the metal they react with the water, they form metal hydroxide and hydrogen. So some element they react with the water only, and when they react with the water, they form metal hydroxide and hydrogen. Some element they react with only steam, they do not react with the water. When they react with the steam, they form metal oxide. There is a difference in metal hydroxide and metal oxide. जैसे example बताते हैं, जैसे magnesium hydroxide. So magnesium hydroxide is MgOH voltwise, or magnesium oxide is MgO. So if the metal they react with the water, they form metal hydroxide plus hydrogen, and if the metal react with the steam, they form metal oxide and hydrogen. Now we go further. देखिए, what is written here? The sodium and potassium react with cold water. So just now I told you, because the sodium and potassium they come at the top of the reactivity series, so they react directly with the cold water. Magnesium react with the hot water and steam. Magnesium is able to react with the hot water as well as steam. Magnesium does not react with the cold water. Aluminium and zinc they only react with the steam. So here the 3 points are explained here. The sodium and potassium they directly react with the cold water. Magnesium react with the hot water and steam. Magnesium react with the hot water and steam. Aluminium and zinc they only react with the steam. So now we see what happens when the sodium is dropped in the water. When the sodium is dropped in the water, three things are formed. Number one, sodium hydroxide. Number two, hydrogen. Number three, heat. Sodium on dropping in the water, it forms a basic solution of sodium hydroxide with the evolution of hydrogen gas. And hydrogen gas is highly inflammable gas. Inflammable means it catches fire easily. Since the heat is produced, so in the presence of heat, that hydrogen catches fire and a little explosion takes place with the fire. It means the hydrogen which is evolved that catches fire easily in the presence of heat. Now see next. Magnesium plus water, it forms magnesium hydroxide plus hydrogen. You see here sodium is reacting with the cold water only. Aluminium, zinc and iron, these all three elements they react with the steam, and what do they form? Metal oxide. You see aluminium plus steam, it forms aluminium oxide plus hydrogen. Zinc plus steam give rise to zinc oxide plus hydrogen. Iron react with the steam, it forms iron oxide and plus hydrogen. So now the next point. Third point, third chemical property of the metal. How do metals react with the acids? So this is our third type of chemical property. When the metals react with the acids, then what do they form? So mainly the metals, they react with the two type of acids. So when the metals react with the hydrochloric acid, they form metal chlorides and hydrogen. But when the metals react with the sulfuric acid, then they form metal sulfate and hydrogen. It means with hydrochloric acid, metal form metal chloride, and with sulfuric acid, the metal form metal sulfate with the formation of hydrogen. Now we see the examples. 2Na plus 2HCl. Sodium plus hydrochloric acid, it forms sodium chloride. It means the metal chlorides and hydrogen. Now the metal reacting with the sulfuric acid, then it forms metal sulfate. If it is sodium, it is sodium sulfate and plus hydrogen. So sodium reacting with the hydrochloric acid, sodium chloride plus hydrogen. Sodium reacting with the sulfuric acid, it forms sodium sulfate and plus hydrogen. Actually, mineral acid, there are three types. One is, see what we have studied just now, that metals when react with the hydrochloric acid, it form metal chloride and hydrogen gas. Metals when react with the sulfuric acid, it form metal sulfate and hydrogen gas. It means the metal on reacting with the hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid, they produce hydrogen gas. Now we see what happens when the metal react with the nitric acid. When the metal react with the nitric acid, they may form metal nitrate and hydrogen. But this hydrogen which is produced after the reaction of metal with nitric acid, that does not remain as it is. What happens? Actually, when we carry out the reaction of the metal with nitric acid is an strong oxidizing agent, and oxidizing agents are those substances which provide oxygen during the process. So when we take nitric acid, then at once it provides oxygen during the process, and that oxygen which is produced, that oxygen at once react with nitric acid, that at once react with the hydrogen, and it forms water. So instead of getting hydrogen, we get water in this case. So now what is the question? Question is this: what happens when the metals react with the nitric acid? Do they produce hydrogen? No. Metals on reacting with the nitric acid, in the starting they produce hydrogen, but nitric acid is the strong oxidizing agent which provides oxygen during the process. So as and when hydrogen is formed, this hydrogen at once react with the oxygen provided by nitric acid, and hydrogen and oxygen together combine and they form water. So in this case, instead of getting hydrogen, we get water. Now there is another question: no any element reacts with the nitric acid and produce hydrogen? So some elements are there, like magnesium and manganese. In a very dilute nitric acid, when they react, they may produce hydrogen gas. So see the language of this topic. When metals react with nitric acid, HNO3, they do not produce hydrogen gas. It is because nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. So as soon as hydrogen gas is formed in the reaction, the nitric acid at once oxidizes this hydrogen to water. Now the next topic which I have told you just now, few metals react with the very dilute nitric acid, then they produce hydrogen gas, like magnesium and manganese. So which I have told you just now, this is the magnesium and this is the manganese. Magnesium and manganese, when they react with the very dilute nitric acid, then they may produce the hydrogen gas with the formation of nitrate. This is magnesium nitrate and this is manganese nitrate. So why in the very dilute condition they are able to produce the hydrogen gas? Because in the very dilute condition, the nitric acid is not able to produce oxygen for the reaction. So this is all about this topic. Now we go to the next topic. This is aqua regia. What is the aqua regia? Actually, the aqua regia, that is a mixture of concentrate nitric acid and concentrate HCl. One part of concentrate HNO3 and the three part of concentrate HCl. When we mix to each other, then they form aqua regia. It is a very strong acid. It is also called as royal water, and this much reactive it is that it can dissolve most of the metal. Even the gold and platinum, which are least reactive metal, they also can be dissolved in the aqua regia. Now our next chemical property, and that is how do metals react with the solution of other metal salt. This type of reaction already you have studied in the chapter 1. In that I have explained you a metal when it reacts with the salt solution of the another metal, then there is a type of reaction takes place, and that is called displacement reaction. According to the reactivity series, one metal which is at the top of the reactivity series can displace another element which is at the lower side of the reactivity series. It means a most active or reactive metal can displace a less reactive metal from its salt solution. So for example, see Fe plus CuSO4. So in the first chapter I have told you, suppose SO4 is the sulfate and sulfate is the chair, and at this time copper is sitting on this, and iron, this is more reactive than copper. So when we dip iron nail into the copper sulfate solution, then iron nail displaces copper from copper sulfate. It means earlier on the sulfate copper is sitting, and now iron sulfate. This type of reaction can easily be understood with the help of this diagram. Here I am taking the first test tube, and this first tube I take copper sulfate solution. And what is the color of copper sulfate solution? And that is blue. So first I take in this test tube blue color of copper sulfate solution, and in this I put an iron nail. This is the iron nail. I am writing here iron nail. See, when iron nail is dipped into the copper sulfate solution, it's a slow process. The slowly reaction takes place, and slowly this iron from iron nail that displaces copper from copper sulfate, and the reaction takes place. After the reaction we get this, and in this the solution which is present here, that is called iron sulfate. Its color is light green, and the copper which is produced after the reaction, that gets deposited on this iron nail. A brown color copper is deposited on the iron nail. So this is, with the help of this diagram, very easily we can understand. Now we come to this topic. Many times I am saying the reactivity series. So what is the reactivity series? So as I told you before some time, that when the metals they are arranged on the basis of the decreasing order of their reactivities, that is called reactivity series or activity series. So here you see reactivity series of metal or activity series of metal. What is the definition? The arrangement of metals in a vertical column in the order of decreasing reactivity is called reactivity series of metal. And this is the reactivity series. The potassium and sodium, they come at the top of the reactivity series, followed by calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead and hydrogen. Hydrogen is here. Above this hydrogen, all these elements are there. So these elements from potassium to lead, they are more reactive than hydrogen. And below the hydrogen, they are copper, mercury, silver and gold. Gold is at the bottom of the reactivity series, and that is least reactive element. And the potassium and sodium, they are most reactive element. And as we go from top to bottom, the reactivity decreases. It means when the elements they are arranged, when these metals they are arranged on the basis of the decreasing order of their reactivities, that is called the reactivity series or activity series. Next property of the metal, chemical property, what happens when the metal react with chlorine. So how do metals react with the chlorine, that is Cl2? Metals react with chlorine to form ionic chlorides. For example, sodium react with chlorine, sodium chloride. Why it is so called ionic? Because this contain positive and negative charge, Na plus and Cl minus. So sodium react with chlorine, sodium chloride. Calcium react with chlorine, calcium chloride. So you can learn metals on reacting with the chlorine, it forms metal chlorides which are ionic in nature. Next chemical property of the metal is how do metals react with hydrogen. So there is a question that metals, do they react with hydrogen? So answer is only the highly reactive metals react with the hydrogen and they form a special type of compound. They are called hydride. So remember, only the highly reactive element like sodium, potassium and calcium, these type of element only they react with the hydrogen and they form hydride, and these hydrides are also ionic in nature. So remember, metals on reacting with the hydrogen produce hydrides and these hydrides are also ionic in nature. So it is written only a few reacting metals like sodium Na, potassium K and calcium react with the hydrogen to form metal hydrides, and these metal hydrides are ionic in nature. See, 2Na plus H2, 2NaH, Ca plus H2, CH2. This is calcium hydride and this is sodium hydride, and these are ionic in nature. So we have studied all about the chemical properties of metals. Now we will compare the chemical properties of the metals and non-metals. So many of the properties which we have studied about the metals, so we will study that what properties the metals show and what properties the non-metals do not show. So one by one all these points we will discuss here. The first point, metal and non-metal. Metal का first point है metal oxides, basic और amphoteric depending upon the nature of metal. जो oxides of metals हैं, I told you oxides of metals are mainly basic in nature. Some are amphoteric also like zinc oxide and aluminum oxide. Non-metal react with the oxygen to form acidic or neutral oxide. Non-metals only form acidic or neutral oxide. The non-metals do not form the basic oxide. Second point. Second point, more reactive metal displace hydrogen from acids. Most reactive metal displace hydrogen from acid. When the metal react with the acid, जैसे Zn plus 2HCl give rise to ZnCl2 plus H2. In this, the hydrogen from the acid is displaced by the another metal. So more reactive metal displaces hydrogen from acid, but the non-metals do not displace hydrogen from dilute acids. Third point. Third point, with hydrogen, few metals form hydrides which are ionic in nature. So I told you very few metals, they only react with the hydrogen and they form metal hydrides which are ionic in nature. What's about the non-metal? Non-metal with hydrogen form stable covalent hydride. Next, metals are reducing agent because they have high tendency to lose electron. In the first chapter, I have told you those elements which lose electron, they show oxidation. And those elements which show oxidation, they are reducing agent. So metals have a tendency to lose electron. So they oxidize themselves and give the electron to others. जिनको देते हैं उनका reduction होता है. तो we can say metal oxidize themselves and reduce others. So they are called reducing agent. फिर से सुनिए, metals loses the electron itself, gives to others. तो metal oxidizes themselves, reduce others. So they are the best reducing agent. What's about the non-metals? Non-metals are oxidizing agent because they have high tendency to gain electron. Non-metals mainly they gain the electron. They take out the electron from the other element and keep themselves. So when they take out the electron from other elements, it means they are oxidizing others and keeping the electron by themselves. It means reduce themselves. It means they are oxidizing agent. Metal खुद को ऑक्सीडाइज करते हैं, दूसरों को रिड्यूस करते हैं. तो मेटल आर द बेस्ट रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट. नॉन मेटल रिड्यूस देमसेल्व्स, ऑक्सीडाइज अदर्स. सो दे आर बेस्ट ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट. नेक्स्ट प्रॉपर्टी, with chlorine, metals form chloride which are ionic in nature. Metals when they react with the chlorine, they form metal chlorides and these metal chlorides are ionic in nature. Non-metals when they react with the chlorine, they also form chlorides but they are covalent in nature. Non-metals with chlorine form chlorides which are covalent in nature. So these are the 5 properties and that is the differences in the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Now today we are closing our session here only, and now in the next session we will study some more concepts about the chapter metals and non-metals.